Hi, Zizaran here with a pre-Gauntlet interview with previous rank 1 witch DS Lily. And we are 5 days or 4 days probably when people are seeing this video away from the Gauntlet. Thank you so much for joining me here today. How goes the Gauntlet prep?
I find the best gauntlet prep is not prepping, because gauntlet, for me anyways, it's a mind game. So when I practice a lot, I tend to do worse actually.
That's fair. I
But
actually had that myself in a lot of events. Have
what
you?
I'm probably just gonna practice leveling and I'll like load up. I mean, you can't really practice for bosses, but I'll
Yeah.
go on standard and just roll bosses with turbo and whatever.
That's fair. That's fair. It'll be a very interesting gauntlet. Obviously, for those that don't know, it's very different than previous gauntlets where every campaign boss and things like that will have different abilities. And yeah, it'll be very curious how that will be. Any thoughts? Like anything you're hoping to see or scared of seeing?
I want to see you like walk into a Shaper fight and it's not even Shaper and you just have like X-Arc balls immediately or something to just catch people off guard and they just instantly die. That'd be funny.
That would be sick. That would actually be really cool. So I actually don't know either. I threw a few suggestions at them and I don't know what they're taking. So I was like, it'd be really cool if we're steering X-Arc, the bullet hell never ends, and you have to fight your Brazier at the same time, and it only ends when you kill your Brazier each stage.
Oh
And I was
God.
like, would it be fucked if Merveil had the Cyrus Meteor? That's like the only two things that I've suggested. So I don't know what they're doing either. Figured it'd be really cool if nobody knows and it's just we get blown away, literally. Um, I did tell them, I was like, just please don't make Hillock too fucked because I don't want everybody like quitting on level 2. Like at least wait till like Brutus or Merveil before you do something really messed up. So I don't know, but it would people were saying like it would be really cool if Hillock like Shaper slams you. That would be fucked.
Yeah, I didn't know there was gonna be changes to campaign bosses too. But I was talking about that. Like, what if you just walk into Merveil and there's just Shaper in there?
Yeah, there might be. I don't know. Um, so Neona said there's a lot of cool things he wants to do. Depends how much time they have, but very spicy. And a lot of people are worried, like, well, aren't we just gonna one hit the bosses with the meteors from the Orichalcomore? Um, and I think they are going to nerf that, like, or just remove that during the campaign, something like that. So I actually don't think that'll be an option. So that'll be spicy. Might have to overlevel a lot.
I'm down with that. I
Yeah.
once in a while like over leveling in campaign, that kind of play style.
Yeah, so you're very known for being like, especially early in the race, way ahead of anyone else, and then maybe catching a fast one and dying. How's your approach to Gauntlet compared to like regular racing?
Okay, the past few gauntlets, I actually just died to a DC. I think like three in a row I died to a DC, and then I took a break from like the last two because I couldn't take dying to a DC again, but my internet's been pretty stable lately, so hopefully that's not a problem. And although gauntlet, I just like when I wake up, I don't log in for like 2 hours of being awake because that's the most dangerous time for
I
me.
agree.
Anyways, it's not being with no sleep. No sleep is fine. It's when
Yeah,
I just wake up.
I agree.
So I kind of get myself into a more rigid pattern of sleeping and whatever I'm doing because if I just blast as long as I can, it usually ends up
Yeah.
bad as opposed to pacing myself like a marathon.
How do you feel about how many hours you need to put in to be competitive in the Gauntlet? Do you feel like you need to sleep more than a regular race because of the difficulty?
I think you definitely need to sleep more. I think less is more for Gauntlet for most people,
Yeah.
unless you're like already a god gamer and can just blast it. But most people, less is probably more.
Yeah. And yeah, I saw you made a really cool video. I definitely wanted to bring that up for builds to play in the Gauntlet. Did you end up finding something for Rangers to play?
No, I think it's probably just Peaconk bouncing, but I don't know.
That's fair.
I mean the problem is gonna be the campaign, I guess. Once you're in maps, it's okay enough, you can probably survive, but
Yeah, that's the
Getting to
thing.
the
It actually
campaign,
gets
I
easier.
genuinely don't know what I would recommend people. Because
Yeah.
having no life flasks isn't going to be great.
Yeah.
But
I'd recommend not playing Ranger for most people.
yeah,
And what build have you chosen?
I'm starting pretty much 100% Ice Nova Hierophant. And then I'll probably, depending on the ladder's looking and who's playing it, I just try to snipe the lower plate ascendancies at this point,
Yeah.
now that I'm old.
Well, I mean,
But
it's a pretty smart tactic in general. For those that are watching and don't know, the way we have it structured is that it is a class race. So that means that there is a bonus for being rank one overall. So for example, if Exile, Steel, Ben, anyone like wins rank one overall, they do get a bonus prize. But for whoever's like first, let's say the first rank one is Shadow, then if the second rank one is Duelist and the last rank one is Scion, they still get the same prize. So it is actually very beneficial to, like what Lily's saying, scope out the competition, figure out what is the least competitive, and go for that, because you can still win like sometimes it's like anywhere between $3,000 and $10,000. So it's quite a lot of money on the line. Um, and there are a lot of bounties as well. Is that something you enjoy going for?
bounties, I usually only pick them up if they're convenient for me. I kinda just focus on trying to place higher. But if there's one that's pretty close to what I'm doing, I'll usually grab it. Like, I think the last gauntlet got a couple hundred for a bounty for killing at Ziri first or something
Oh
on
yeah.
Witch. So snag that. Anything like that, if it's like within reach, I'll do it. But if it's super far out there, like farm 10,000 crimson oils or something, I won't do it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that would be a fun one. I should do that. 10,000 crimson oils. Yeah, no, we've done some messed up ones. I think the worst one was like the second most on she's farmed. That was a bit mean. I feel bad for that one. So like we previously discussed, new abilities on Ubers, new abilities on Pinnacle bosses. How do you think that changes potentially who's in the lead and stuff? Normally, people like prepare for a long time and then go in, but going in first now, you could just get like clapped by like some like crazy ability. How do you feel that changes things?
I think it definitely can make it more of a toss up because I think usually not that many do serious practice. A lot of people do like practice, which is basically like playing for content before it actually starts. I think at least that's what I used to do more. But now that you can't practice it, the few people who do practice, I feel like still have a really high chance of winning, but less so because I can't practice it. So it's more of an even playing field for people
Yeah.
who don't care to practice or don't have the time or too lazy or whatever.
I'm just so curious to see if someone's gonna like go in and just get clapped by something they're not expecting, and yeah, it'll be very curious like what they even can do with the swapping abilities around. I'm very excited, like
That
it,
could definitely be a strat. I mean, in the really early gauntlets, you would wait for people to die and watch what happened and stuff. So it could be kind of like that. Like, oh, I don't know what's in that fight. I'm gonna wait for
yeah.
Ben to do it or whatever and look at the fight.
And it also changes things because, well, maps are really easy this time because we didn't really enjoy seeing people die to regular maps. But even the normal bosses are messed up now. Like, not map bosses, I think. I don't know, actually. But like Pinnacle bosses, like if you need a melding or something like that, even farming Eater might actually be a challenge now. So that would be really cool. So you said you were going to be playing Ice Nova. Are you going to be like pivoting to another class and like just farming in that early, or what's your full plan there?
So my plan is to check out the Hierophant ladder. If anybody really scary and good is playing it, I'll switch over to either. I have a few options actually. Which, and I want to go DD. I think it'd be funny to win with DD again because DD Archmage is pretty good. I did a run on it recently. It was progressing, felt pretty close to normal DD actually,
Wow.
with a little bit more scuff to it, but it was good.
I knew I should have banned
And then,
DD. I knew it.
yeah, but it's not DD, it's Archmage.
That's fair.
And then Ice Nova Archmage Ascendant points actually look kind of good, so I think that might be okay. The problem would be mana regen. I don't know how you solved that yet, but
Yeah.
actually the nodes look good. And then if people don't end up going to Trickster for bosses, I'll just farm Trickster gear. I don't know what people are planning on doing with that because
Yeah, so I would expect that Trickster is the most played thing, just because of all the damage numbers and stuff that we've shown that the Ubers have. Like they have some messed up modifiers this time. We did think about doing more, but it's a little bit hard to balance because we can't just do it so that only Trickster is playable. Like we do want everything to have some chance of finishing, maybe not like Ranger, but yeah, most things should be able to finish, so we can't just do like, oh yeah, 400% more damage on Ubers. Like, good luck. So that's a tough one. But yeah, Trickster is obviously very potent. Another thing that might come into play is power runes. Is that something you're thinking about? Like, I've seen a lot of people theory crafting, like, oh, I can do 250 million shipments before the event is over.
I have not calculated that yet. I'm very bad with min-maxing my town. I kind of just do it whenever, so I'm gonna have to really pay attention to it. And Gauntlet, I should probably think about that. I'm gonna try and write up like a whole document and just follow it like a recipe for what I'm playing, so I don't actually have to think. I do all the thinking beforehand and then I just execute it.
Yeah.
So I'll probably look into that, but not yet.
So as a final question, we've had some easy gauntlets and we've had, the last one was quite hard and it looks like this one is going to be quite hard as well. What is how do you feel? Do you prefer easier gauntlets where people finish it fast, or do you prefer like the really hard ones?
If I had to rate like how hard it is on a scale of 1 to 10, I think I'd prefer it to be like a 7-ish, around there. If it's too easy, I don't go. If it's too easy, I'll try to push too fast and I'll die. If it's somewhere in the middle, I feel like that's my best shot of actually placing well. If it's too
Yeah,
hard, I will just die.
that's
So
fair.
somewhere in the middle, definitely not on the easier end, probably from middle to high.
What number of difficulty would you give the last gauntlet? I don't know how much you watched that.
Um, I don't know. Last Gauntlet, I was I had to do something else. I only would have been able to play for like half the time, and I was still salty about DC death.
Yeah,
So
that's fair.
I think I was variety gaming or something.
That's fair. Well, we're very happy to see you competing in. Always so fun. Thank you so much for joining me for this interview. And yeah, super good luck in the gauntlet. Try to die less than I
Thank
do.
you. Thanks for having me.
And everyone, make sure you check out DS Lily. She's going to be live a lot. The DS in her name is for Don't Sleep. So yeah, she's just going to be online. And great creator. And we'll link your guide in the comment description down below. That is a lot of suggestions on what builds are going to be good to get 95 in the gauntlet. So check that out. Again, thanks for watching. Sub if you liked the video. But more importantly, do try to die less than I do.